Welcome into the Shop Fix channel. In today's episode, I want to show you how you can easily fix a door that sticks. And what I mean by this is if you have a door that over time has become crooked, it's probably hitting up against the frame and it's very hard to open and close it. That's the case with my front door. It's very stuck, and it's just because the door has shifted a little bit and that crookedness has caused it to hit the outside frame. And so I'm going to show you a really quick way to solve this problem. Stick around.
Shop Fix. It's for the love of woodworking.
Alright, so I'll show you how bad this door is actually sticking to the frame. So when you try to open it, it's super stuck right at the top here. And it's rubbing right there, and we're going to fix that today. Check out how smoothly the door opens now after we've repaired it. Alright, so the first step you want to take is to look at the top of your door and see if one side has a larger gap than the hinge side. If it does, that's a telltale sign that your door has simply sagged over time. Now, to correct this, all you have to do is replace the original hardware of the hinges themselves with longer 2-inch screws. So the original hardware simply goes into the first layer of wood, which is not the supporting structure of the door frame. When you replace them with longer 2-inch screws or 2.5-inch screws, that's actually going to reach the 2x4 and pull that frame back up to alignment. Now, it's probably not going to correct it all the way. However, it might be just enough to fix your door jamb problem. So if your door is getting stuck in your door jamb and it's kind of hard to open and close, it's getting stuck, just replacing the original hardware, the original screws on the hinges, that might actually solve your problem altogether. However, if it's still stuck and not moving freely, there is one other method that you may use, and that's actually aligning the door with wood shims after removing the hinge pins, and then actually using pliers like these to actually bend the hinge to either create a larger gap or a smaller gap depending on where your door is sticking. So that's the technique that I'm about to show you in case just replacing the screws isn't enough. The first step that I take is use WD-40 and spray it on the hinge and the pin. That's going to make it much easier to remove if it hasn't been removed for a really long time. To remove the pin, you could take a small Allen wrench and hammer the bottom of the Allen wrench. And now we're going to move on to step 2 of this repair, and that is to actually shim the door into position that won't make the door stick. So we're going to take wood shims and put the wood shims between the door jamb and the door and position the door in the frame where it's actually correct and that the door isn't touching the frame. You should start to see that the door is going to be starting to shift to the right. And now we have a significant gap on this left side and it's not hitting it anymore. So let's move on to the next step, which is adjusting the door hinges. You're going to want to leave the shims on that we just placed in, and you're going to take some pliers or something similar to grab a hold of these knuckles and actually turn them appropriately so that they all line up and that pin can slide between them. Okay? Now I'm going to do the same thing with this one. The door was so crooked that I'm going to have to also adjust this bottom hinge right here. Alright, so now we completed that step, which was actually adjusting the knuckles on the hinge brackets so that they are aligned again. So now that we have that completed, we're going to go ahead and replace the pins on the hinges by just hammering them in place. And so once you have that step completed, you can remove the shims and you should be all set to go. Incredibly smooth. Now, to quickly recap what I did to repair this, I first replaced the original screws on the hinges with longer 2-inch screws, which sunk in the 2x4 and pulled that frame into alignment. Then I adjusted a few of the knuckles on the hinges after doing some wood shims to get the door parallel to the door jamb, and now it works wonderfully. If you've enjoyed this video and thought this content was valuable in repairing your front door or a door similar, don't forget to smash that like button and subscribe to the ShopFix channel so you don't miss out on any future videos. Well, until next time, take care, and I'll see you in the next video.